Stones we carry, clothes we lived in, all the tales we will tell our children. Oh, we're taking the high road. Lay beside me, wake the morning, ever after, day reborn in. Oh, we're taking the high road. I'm setting the sun, I'm ready to run, I'm walking a tightrope. I give you the fall, spring singing a song, we're taking the high road. We're taking the high road. We're finally awakened.
Hi, and welcome to Honda Adventures. I'm starting a channel. Gonna basically start with my Honda 2021 CB500X, which I bought recently, and I'm gonna go with you hopefully throughout the whole process of how I got licensed and decided on the bike, riding the bike, modifying the bike, and all of the adventures that hopefully are to come, and working with this bike. I started out probably like a lot of people, on the dirt as a kid, mini bikes, small trail bikes, sometimes riding on the back, getting on a bike any way I could. My parents didn't really want me to have a bike, and I always wanted to ride, but even moving to California when I was 12 or 13, my parents weren't convinced. So, then life takes over. As a lot of college, jobs, careers, families, kids. And now I find myself retired, working a little bit part-time, with COVID the last, over 2 years. I'm really looking for an adventure, so this is what I decided on, to sort of spice up things a little bit in my life. So hopefully, I'll be able to share some things in my process that help you to either as a new beginner, which I basically am, or as someone who's returning to cycling and looking for a bike or looking for an adventure bike, and looking at the process of beginning to ride again.
I'm setting the sun, I'm ready to run, I'm walking a tightrope. I give you the fall, spring singing a song, we're taking the high road. We're taking the high road. We're finally awakened, we're taking the high road. Hearts are wayward, sun is swollen, rest tomorrow, the ways unfolding. Oh, we're taking the high road. We're finally awakened, we're taking the high road. I'm setting the sun, I'm ready to run, I'm walking a tightrope. I give you the fall, spring singing a song, we're taking the high road. We're
So the way I started my process was I first started looking at YouTube videos, trying to decide, do I want a bike? Do I really want one? And what kind of bike do I want? So I looked at all the types of things that I thought I would want in a bike, where I would want to go with it, what I would want to do with it. I pretty quickly ruled out a sport bike. I really didn't want a rocket underneath me. You know, at my age, you know, it just wasn't what interested me. Maybe if you're 20 or 30, you know, a fast sport bike is what you're looking for. But I was really looking for something that could be a commuter. You could take camping, you could go on adventures, you could go on lots of rides through the twisties and do all that kind of stuff. And the more and more I looked at it, and all the different features of different bikes I looked at, and I looked at a lot of bikes, I really was leaning towards adventure bikes. They really seemed to have all of the things that I wanted in a bike. The dual sport bikes, which are a little more dirt centric, there just isn't enough places for me to ride around here. So to get a dirt centric bike that's road capable, this makes sense for me, because I'm mostly going to be on the road getting places or going places. With hopefully I will be able to find, you know, somewhere near me some places where I can get off-road a little bit. I'm still not convinced I can do that in the Bay Area. I might have to go further, you know, further out of the Bay Area to do that, which would mean probably multiple day trip, but you know, we'll see how that goes. So I narrowed down the bike to an adventure bike and started looking at a variety of different bikes, you know, KTMs, Kawasaki, Honda, you know, different bikes, adventure bikes, and the features that came with them. So some of the features that I was looking at was, I'd say, well, one of the first items would be the engine. You know, does it have enough power, enough horsepower? Is it touring capable? Can I hit the road with it? Basically, not just commute, but could I hit the highway with it, you know, when I get to the point where I want to hit the highway? And how much power does it have? You know, how reliable is it? I looked at seat height. You know, I went into the dealer and tried out, you know, different heights of seats, and the Honda, you know, 500X seems to have a good size seat. It's a little over 32 inches. I'm, you know, a little over 5'10", and my pants are about 32 inch, so 32 inch seat height seemed pretty good. I would bet if you're, you know, 5'7", 5'8", you're probably okay on it up, you know, and obviously 6 foot plus, you probably start to worry about leg room as you get over, I don't know, 6'2", 6'3", something like that, I'd say, would be my guess, but you might need a little bigger bike. I looked at, you know, braking, the weight of the bikes and handling, how easy were the bikes to handle, and variety of other things. Let's see, what else did I look at? The screen on them, you know, how readable is it, what's on there, and what kind of display does it have. So at the end of the day, I was pretty convinced Honda was the way to go for me. It seemed to check a lot of the boxes, and I watched a lot of YouTube videos on a lot of different bikes. I'd ridden a KTM in my safety class, and yeah, I liked it, but I just, something about Hondas, and maybe because I rode Hondas as a kid, you know, and the reliability of Honda is maybe what sold me. But at that point, I wasn't ready to pull a trigger on buying a bike. I knew I needed to do a parallel process of getting licensed, because I didn't want to buy a bike unless I was sure I wanted to ride. So in California, you can do this process where you take a safety class, a DMV certified safety class, get certified by passing a written and driving, riding test in the safety class. That gives you a DMV form. It's a certificate that you completed it, which means you don't have to take the DMV riding test at the DMV, just the written. So I took the safety class, which I highly recommend. Fantastic. Gets you back on a bike, starts getting your coordination going with braking, changing gears, and a lot of safety instruction. It's super helpful, highly recommended. So then I went to the DMV with my certificate after I passed the written and the writing test and the safety class. And took the written test there, passed the written test, and got my license. So a week, 10 days later, I had my license. I had a temporary one, and then I got the real one in the mail. And so then I was ready to start looking. I watched a bunch more YouTube videos. Started looking for a Honda 500X. I could not find a Honda 500X in California. At least the dealer was looking, and they couldn't find one. And I couldn't find a used one either. Not 2 or 3 years old. Maybe there were some that were like 6 or 7 years old, but nothing relatively new and really good condition. So at that point I started thinking, well, I really want to start riding and I want to learn. I want to, start putting some miles in as a beginner. So I started looking at the Honda 300R. Was it CRF 300R? It's a cheaper bike. It's obviously smaller engine, less power, but I thought, well, maybe that's available. I could get that. I could learn for a year on that. Then I could sell it and upgrade to a CB500 or something similar. And so I started looking for that. I could not find a CRF 300R anywhere in California either. They were out. I checked all of the Bay Area places, and they also looked at their upcoming inventory over 2 or 3 months, both for this and the 300R, and neither were expected to be delivered to them in the next 3 months or so. So Honda was way behind on inventory. So at that point, I was kind of frustrated. I knew I wanted to get a bike. I was going to give a Honda one last shot before I looked at other bikes. I went into the dealer. I wanted to see, what can I do? Can I get on a waiting list? How long do you think it will be? What can I do to get the bike I wanted? I walked in the front door, and this bike was sitting on the showroom floor right in front of me. It was just a few months ago, so it was maybe April 2022, but this was not a 2022. They had just transferred this from another dealer. It was a 2021. So it was a little bit cheaper. It was like $200 cheaper than the 2022s. Of course, it didn't have the upgraded forks. It didn't have the upgraded brakes on the front. But all in all, it's pretty much the same bike. And so I went ahead and went for it. It only had 1 mile on it, so it was brand new. And I bought that thing right then and there. So then I had the safety class, had my license, had the bike. I actually had it delivered because I wanted to learn slowly and safely, and the dealership was quite a ways from here, so I had them deliver the bike. It was just a little over $100 to get the bike delivered, and that way I was able to learn around here. I was able to start out, pretty slowly, starting around flat neighborhood streets, starts, stops, accelerating, changing gears, and gradually broadening my circle and difficulty of driving. Then switching on to thoroughfares, going to bigger streets with stoplights, then trying some of the hills around here. Currently, I've been riding, I think, about a month. Today, I think I'm about 500 miles already. So yesterday I did a 60-mile ride up into the hills, Santa Cruz Mountains. It was pretty fun. So I'm really starting to enjoy riding the bike. I'm having more fun because it's becoming more natural now that I've got the coordination down, and I can, enjoy the ride a little bit more. I'm staying focused, but still I'm enjoying the rides a little bit more. I feel more comfortable riding. So my mantra now is practice, practice, practice. I'm trying to practice 5-6 days a week, doing different rides, different traffic, different locations, hitting the mountains near here, out on the reservoir, open roads, doing some twisties, practicing counter steering and curves and visualization and looking ahead and doing all the things that you'll learn in safety class once you take one, and if you study the DMV brochure. But safety class is really what gives all of those things a real practical focus. They will pound it into you, and so you'll start to understand a little bit of some of the things you need to do to be safe on the bike. And of course, the safety equipment you need to wear when you ride a bike. So that's how I got started as a beginner on my Honda 2021 500X. And hopefully you'll follow along with me. What I plan to do is start sharing some of my rides, some of the things I'm learning, and then start sharing some of the modifications I do. I have not modified this bike at all yet. The only thing I've done is add an old GoPro onto the handlebar right here so that I can record some of my rides and share some of those with you. Anyway, hopefully you'll follow along as I start to modify this bike and go for more interesting rides. And so if you'd like to do that, please subscribe, hit the notification bell on the right, and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Thanks a lot.